And good morning and welcome to another edition of Telling It Like It Is. I'm Ralph Williams, and coming up, Leo Haggerty, my co-host from Florida. And this morning, I'm doing the broadcast from here in my vehicle because my wife is at choir practice for church tomorrow. So that's why I'm here in my vehicle doing it instead of in my studio at home. All right, I'm going to bring up Leo Haggerty. Leo, welcome to the program. How are you this morning?
I'm doing fine, Ralph. How about yourself?
All right, we got a quick half hour today. We got a lot to talk about. So we're going to be doing that. Sports, we got NIL stuff to talk about, the merger of the USFL and the XFL. Colorado losing their first game, and it gets tougher and tougher. And the weakness, we were talking off camera here, the weakness of the SEC, so we can talk about that as well. And a whole lot more right here on Telling It Like It Is. We're in the First Line Consulting Services Studios, 1-877-926-6982. Give them a call today for your website needs. They will create a website for you. They will not only create it, but they will also manage it and upload your videos. One low monthly price, 1-877-926-6982, the number to call for the First Line Consulting Services. Also, we're sponsored today by RW Media and Amped Up Sports, which is Leo Haggerty and his Amped Up Sportsmen. I thank you for the sponsorship as well, for Sports Corner as well. So, and the radio show and everything else. And the External Bum podcast, the Wrestle Talk show. I appreciate Amped Up Sports and their support of and sponsor of the show. All right, Leo, let's get started here. We have plenty to talk about today. We have a possible government shutdown, and it's a bunch of babiness here and a bunch of nonsense. What do you think about this shutdown?
You know what I think about it, Ralph? I think every one of them should be thrown out of office. It's ridiculous, one, that they can't pass a yearly budget. The government asks us to live within our means. All we're asking the government to do is live within theirs. And the fact that they're going month to month, how about passing a budget for 2024, and then live within it? I understand you got the Ukraine and that is draining resources, but it's time to sit there and say, okay, how are we doing this? What's going to happen? Are we going to continue to throw money over to Ukraine? Are we going to kind of cut back? What's going on? What's happening? But the fact that 535 people in the House and the Senate, they can't come up with a budget. And, I'm throwing this at the House because being an old history teacher, I know all appropriations bill must start in the House of Representatives. So the fact that they can't get this done is crazy.
Right.
Just crazy. And you know what? All the Democrats have to do is vote for it. They don't have to vote against it. Just get something on the table. Because if you go back to your district and somebody said, why didn't you vote for this? You're going to be eating a lot of crow and you'll probably be out of office.
Yeah, absolutely. This is an important thing, and I don't give a crap who you hate or whatever. Everybody, like you said, has to get together and get this done because we cannot afford a government shutdown. I'm somebody in the military, and I got kids and I got a family to feed. They had some military families on the nightly news last night talking about how they can't afford to not have any money coming in. I mean, it's crazy. And, but I would love to see these politicians take a pay cut, or they don't get paid or something like that. It's nice, isn't it, that you can make all the rules, but then you don't want to suffer the consequences of them.
Yeah, you know what, Ralph? Guess who gets paid during this? The congressmen.
The politicians, yes.
Yeah, they don't take the beating like everybody else. So we sent you to Washington to govern, and it looks like the last thing you're doing is governing, and that's terrible.
It is. It is. We have these politicians out there, Leo. They keep running and running and running and running, and they keep on, and these people keep on electing them. And I said this many times before. It's. I don't mean you, Leo. It's your fault out there that's watching this program. It's your fault because you should have never put these people in here.
Well, it's not that you shouldn't put, but the fact you're putting him in again.
Yeah,
It's what's the sure sign of stupidity? Having the same thing happen and expect a different outcome. Well, guess what?
right.
This is what's going on. The fact that you've elected these people, nothing wrong with that. The fact that you are going to reelect these people, that's the problem. If you
That's the
can't
biggest
see
problem.
this,
Yes, yes.
then you're really in trouble.
Oh, absolutely. You are. You're exactly right. Leo, let's talk a little bit about the strikes going on right now. You still have the strikes in Hollywood, and you have the auto workers are on strike. You know what? This is sad. They had a guy on from the union. He said he was making $15.60 an hour 10 years ago. Guess how much he makes now?
$15.60 an hour. Yeah.
10 years ago. That's how long
Oh,
it's been since they had a raise. That's disgusting.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I remember when uh, the Oklahoma teachers went on strike,
Uh
and
huh.
you can't strike in Oklahoma; they fire you.
Oh,
But
really?
yeah, but the problem is when they went on strike, they had gone like 8, 9, maybe 10 years without a raise, with nothing. So they said, "What the heck? You go ahead and fire all of the receiving filler positions." Oklahoma caved. They said, "Hey, we got to start paying these people." But again, it's getting to a point now where they're thinking, and we're talking about administrators and politicians, that teachers aren't that important. We can get anybody in there to do this. Well, guess what? They're going to have a real rude
That's
awakening.
bull. That's
Yeah,
bull.
yeah. It's
You can't just find somebody on the street, Leo, and ask them to go and make a car and put a car together. That's not going to happen. You can't
well,
have somebody on the street who's a screenwriter or a producer or whatever and ask them to try to do that job. It's not going to happen that way.
no. And again, my brother is a big union guy, and I'm a big union guy with teachers. He was
And so
with
am I.
he was with Yellow Freight, and uh, he said the big problem with the auto industry is the electric cars, is that they're trying to say, okay, you're not building a car, you're building a battery. And so they want to pay them less because they're not putting an engine in, they're just putting a battery in. Well, you
Right.
know what? They got to figure that out in a hurry, that that's not going to work. And you know what, Ralph? When this first came out and they said they want a 40% raise over 5 years, I think it is, I thought, man, that's big. But then I saw what these upper level people were getting. I mean, hey, uh, trickle down doesn't mean crumbs. Trickle down means they should share, because, like this guy in the union said, hey, we're the front line. We're the ones doing the heavy labor, the heavy lifting. Time to start paying those people, Ralph, for sure.
It is. Oh yeah, and you know what? The union movement's coming back. I mean, a lot. We have some. We had a potential strike at one of our major electric companies that got avoided, and our major newspaper, the Pittsburgh Post Gazette, they've been on strike since October of last year, and they're still on strike. The Block family, they're a bunch of scumbags. They don't want to pay, and so here we are. Guys are on strike, and it's just the movement's coming back. I'm seeing more strikes now, and unions getting formed now. Look at Starbucks; they're forming across the country, forming unions. Coffee Tree Roaster, and a bunch of people have had enough, tired of getting mistreated on a job. And there's so many jobs out there, Leo, now that you can go out and get a job anywhere. I mean, nobody wants to work.
Well, I tell you what, Ralph, and no one's thought about this part, but if you shut the government down, that's shutting down the people at the airport, not just
Yeah.
the air traffic controllers. It's talking about the people working,
Oh, the
at
TSA people. Yeah.
yes. And you know what happened last time? Those TSA people just walked and got a job somewhere else rather than work for nothing or wait till that next paycheck comes
Exactly.
in. And like I said, the fact that there's 535 people that can't get this done, tells me that, you know what, it's time to get new blood in there.
It is.
Everybody's talking about, well, Biden's too old, Trump's too old. Let's get some. Well, guess what?
Well, don't talk. Take action. Vote.
Yeah,
Get them
yeah. They're
out.
not. There's nobody there. That's the problem. There's
Talk is
nobody
cheap.
there. I'll tell you what. I thought Nikki Haley looked good in the debate.
Yeah, yeah, so did I. I wish Robert Kennedy Jr. would get in there. If there's anybody in the Republican Party, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, Leo, I've been watching a lot of Donald Trump's rallies, and I watched an interview with him on NBC on Meet the Press a few weeks back. And let me tell you what, man, he's got some plans, and I like what he's got going. It's just too bad that he's got all that criminal activity going on right now.
Well, it's too bad if it's not true. If it's true, then hey, I don't want a crook running the country.
Right? I don't either. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's putting the Joker in charge of Gotham City, so to speak.
Gotham City. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
let's get somebody in there who's at least.
Who's clean, not a clown. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
You got Bernie Sanders sticks his hands up in the air and he looks like a circus clown with his hair up in the air. Running.
Well,
Going like this and that. You know what I'm saying? You know.
well, talk about somebody who's way too old. That's Bernie. In
Yeah.
fact, if you go back to 2016, when Hillary couldn't even beat Bernie in some states, and Bernie wasn't even a Democrat; he was an independent.
Yeah. He was an independent. Exactly. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that had to send some red flags up, and the Democrats didn't even catch it. That's the worst part, that they didn't even see this coming. That hey, she's having trouble beating an 80-year-old octogenarian who isn't even a Democrat. So I
Right.
hope the Democrats learned. I'm afraid they didn't. That you have primaries for a reason. You don't just uh, inaugurate somebody or crown them, as Coach Green said. Just crown them. Make them earn it. So it'll be interesting to see if any of the Democrats do run against Biden in the primaries.
All right. I have to take care of some of the sponsors here, Leo. Hillcrest Farms in Richmond, Ohio. Give him a call today, 740-346-5442 or 740-632-2894. And also you can email them, hillcrestfarmsohio@gmail.com. Check out their website. They are now shipping. So Leo, you live in Florida. If you want to order something from Hillcrest Farm, you can get on their website, www.hillcrestfarmsohio.com. Tell them you heard it on this program, and they'll ship meat right to your house. They have a great selection of beef specials. The one special they have that's really good is $95. You get 20 pounds of ground beef, hay grain beef, not that stuff that has coloring all over it and the fillers and all that. This stuff is right straight from the farm, right from the cow or whatever. It's hay grain
Right
beef.
off the hoof, right, Ralph?
Exactly, right off the hook. And it's 45 minutes from Pittsburgh, right up the hill from Steubenville, Ohio. So give them a call, 740-346-5442 or 740-632-2894. Hillcrest Farms, Richmond, Ohio. Check them out today. All right, Leo. Let's talk a little. Let's get into some sports talk a little bit. But first, Michael says good morning to us. He's one of our steady watchers. Good morning, Michael. And let's talk sports a little bit. Colorado got a taste of reality last week when Oregon beat
Oh,
them up real bad. What do you
you
think,
know,
Leo?
I'm going to drink to that. I'll tell you what, it was a nice story, but all of a sudden it was a return to reality for Colorado.
Right,
They're getting beat up. They lost Hunter, and just teams are out athleting him now, and that's the
right,
problem. You know, if I said that Colorado wasn't going to go 1-11, they weren't going to go 11-1, somewhere in between. I said either three, 4, 5, 6 wins right in there,
right.
because right now they're in the meat grinder. They got Oregon, now they got USC
They're
there, who's
playing
going to probably,
USC on Saturday. Yeah,
they're
yeah.
probably going to cook a 50 burger on them at least, because Williams got
Oh
to put
yeah.
up numbers. So yeah,
There's a big candidate list, Leo, for Michigan State. Mel Tucker has officially been fired. Who do you think could get that job? I hear Matt Campbell from Iowa State. I'm hearing Leopold from Kansas, Pat Narduzzi from Pitt. There's a big list. What do you think? Who do you think could get that job?
Boy, a lot of people. And again, it all depends on who wants to move. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
Michigan
And what
State,
the money is?
yeah, and you're always going to be the second dog in that state. There's no way around it. You got Michigan
Right.
and then you. You know, back when Duffy Daugherty was coach, it was Michigan State then Michigan. But once Bo Schembechler showed up, that whole dynamic changed. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
you're always fighting an uphill battle with Michigan. Uh, you're also fighting an uphill battle when you talk about fighting the basketball program. Not fighting it, but that's a pretty darn good program over there
Oh
that
yeah.
they have going for years and years and years. So
Yeah. Hey, 2 years ago, Pitt played Michigan State. Pickett didn't play. Kenny Pickett didn't play. And it was in a, we were in a big bowl game. So, I mean, Michigan State's always had a great program. They're always, hiring good coaches. D'Antonio was there. And, so we'll see who they hire. I'm kind of, people around here in Pittsburgh are kind of hoping they hire Pat Narduzzi. I think he's worn out his welcome here, coaching at Pitt. And, we'll see what happens with Michigan
you
State.
know what, Ralph? If I'm Michigan State, I'm keeping an eye on Duke, and if Coach Elko keeps that
Oh,
thing
Elko.
turned,
Yeah, I forgot to mention him.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
you
I
got to keep
told
it.
everybody last year, Leo, don't sell out Mike Elko, and I was right because Pitt beat Duke last year, but it was a dogfight. We won by 2 points, and we had to go into overtime. And this year, the way Duke's playing, Elko could get that job too if he decides to leave.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, we were talking off the air here about the SEC, how weak they've become. Alabama, Florida, all those teams. What's your thoughts on that?
Boy, I'll tell you what. Gus Cattengill asked me that question on ESPN Radio yesterday. He said, "What about the SEC?" I said, "They're at best the third conference. I mean, you've got the Pac-12, which there's still 12 of them, and you
Right,
got the ACC. I think top to bottom, and again, the Pac-12 is head and shoulders above everybody else. Look at what they got
right.
at quarterback. I mean, Penix out at Washington, Williams at USC. You got
Right.
Ward at Washington State. Washington State's come out of nowhere. The
Oh, I know.
Cougars,
I know.
they're playing well. And again, what's going to happen is they're going to play knockdown. They're going to play each other. See, the SEC sets up their schedule so Alabama doesn't play Georgia because they don't want to have that happen. I think it's once every 7, 8, 9 years that happens, but they don't play each other. So
Right.
I don't. Alabama's not as good because they don't have a quarterback. Georgia's not as good because they don't have a quarterback. And again, right now, if you don't have a quarterback, you got a problem. And I'll tell you what, folks, stay up late at night and watch Washington. I mean, Michael Penix throws the prettiest football you've ever seen. And again, he's
Yeah.
left-handed and he can throw it a mile. But he's worth the price of admission. In fact, Ralph, I always told my wife, and I tell people that if she ever sues me for divorce, Pac-12 football is going to be an unindicted co-conspirator because you're up till 2 in the morning watching them play football. But
Yeah.
it's
Well, Pac-12 don't have much left there, Leo. So a lot of them teams that have left are planning on leaving after
yeah,
this year.
Oregon State and Washington State played for the Pac-2 last week. So Washington State won, and look at what Oregon State did. They turned around and beat an undefeated Utah team last night.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's we're going to get here at the ACC, with Pitt and all that. We're going to get opportunities to play Stanford, California, and and possibly a few other teams too. And it's interesting some of the teams that are in the Big 12. It's just a mess with this with these conferences changing stuff around and everything. And we'll see where it goes from there. Let's get into some talk here. USFL, XFL merging. What do you think of this?
They had to. They had to. They had to figure out how to play nice in the sandbox. And if they merge, they're better off being as one than not just fighting the NFL, but fighting each other. So yeah,
Right.
that's a smart move. Uh, give the Rock credit. He's just not no dumb wrestler. He's got a little bit of
Right.
business savvy, and he sat there and said, hey guys, we need to do this together because if we're separate, the NFL's just going to pick us off one by one.
Oh yeah, and then you have The Rock, who's excuse me, $60 million in a hole. He got to figure something out here. And USFL surviving, but I wish the USFL would go. Let all these teams play on their home fields instead of, like the Maulers playing at Canton, Ohio, Philly going all the way out to Ford Field and all that BS. Stuff like that. We're gonna find out what happens with this merger. How many teams do you think they're gonna go down to?
I think they'll stay at 8.
Okay.
I think they'll stay there. Uh, 8's a good number because either got to be 8 or 12. Because now you're talking about 14 or 16 divisions. You're 5-5. You're playing across. That doesn't work. But Ralph, I agree with you. If you're not playing a home game, why do I want to watch you?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
saying, well, people will watch on TV. No, they won't. They won't. They won't watch because they don't have a buy-in. You got to play.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, the XFL was starting to get traction right before the pandemic. They were
Yes.
starting to draw people. A lot of their rules, the kickoff rule in particular, where you kick it off from the 45, and if you kick it out of the end zone, it comes out to the 35. Well, guess what? They're taking away that 60-yard run at people on the kickoff. So, yeah,
Yeah.
some of their rules are good. People were starting to buy in, and the pandemic hit, and bang, 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 I shot you down. You're out of it. So
Yeah.
they got to get some traction again. The fact that they're not going to fight the NFL is good. They're going to play in the spring, which is good. And you know what? Let's see what happens. But I think, Ralph, it's either going to be 8 or 12 teams.
Yeah, I believe that too. And here, excuse me. Wow. Here in Pittsburgh, the Maulers are playing in Canton for the USFL. And a lot of people here are adamant they won't. I'm a Pittsburgher. If they're not here, I'm not going to follow them. And that's exactly where we're at with this. And I try to put a positive spin on it. When I used to do my Mauler shows pre and post game, I used to say, "Hey, great trip idea." Instead of spending all your money going all the way down to Disneyland or whatever, Disney World, take an economical trip to Canton, Ohio, check out the Hall of Fame. There's a couple amusement parks nearby. Go to Cedar Point, swing over to the game. $10 for a ticket. I mean, I think it's a economical trip. I mean, but that's not the way they see it, like you said. And I like the St. Louis Battlehawks because they sell out all their games in St. Louis because St. Louis don't have a football team. Do you think the NFL will ever give them a team again?
Wow. But Ralph, that's the hardest thing is the NFL, they just can't go from 32 to 33. They got to go
Right.
from 32 to 36 because now they're going to have to expand it simply, now you got 18 on each side. Uh, I think what you'll see, Ralph, if they expand, you'll see St. Louis get one, maybe San Antonio get one because
Uh,
of where they're at. I think they really would love to see a team in Orlando, but you got 3 teams there already, and I got a feeling you're going to want to see something out in Portland. So there's 4 possibilities, but they've got to do that. Then they got to realign. I think now it's the point, let's go east and west. Let's come up with, instead of 3, divisions within 3 fours, come up with, 2 divisions now
right.
within your conference. And, just to come up that way and see what happens.
All right. We're going to talk a little bit about some of these teams that want new stadiums. I'm here in Jacksonville wants a new stadium. The Cons, they got a lot of money. I heard they're putting money into doing the reconstruction again, but I'm hearing some Tweety birds telling me that some information that I got. There's rumors out there that they want a new stadium in Jacksonville. Do you think Jacksonville will pay for it, or do you think the Cons will move it out?
No and no. I don't think Jacksonville will pay for it. I think those days are over. I
Right.
don't think Philadelphia would pay for one. Pittsburgh would pay for one. It's just not happening. Yeah,
Right.
you better fork up at least 50% if you're an owner, because we're not going to buy a home for you anymore. That's just not going to happen. And again, move out of Jacksonville. Where are you going to go? That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's St. Louis. That's about the only one. But Jacksonville now is starting to get an identity. They're starting to put fannies in the seats. So let's see what happens there. They're doing
Yeah.
renovations on, and you know what, Ralph? There's not a whole lot of places to build in Jacksonville. If you're
Yeah.
familiar, most of it is almost, on an island across a bridge, and there's only like one or two ways in. So, yeah, it's I, I think Jacksonville, they're finally getting the right people, coach, quarterback, running back. They're starting to get people in that fans can relate to. So
Right.
I'm thinking they're going to stay there. But new stadium, unless the Cons fork up at least half of it, maybe
Right.
60%, not going to happen.
Yeah, that's true. And then you got like Don in Oakland, the A's. That owner, he's a billionaire. They told him, you pay for your own stadium. We're not approving none of this. And a lot of these cities are into doing that now, Leo. And I don't blame them, because you pay for the stadium, and then you got to pay for tickets, and then you really got to take out a loan once you're done. And really, that's not fair.
No, no, it isn't. And again, uh, no one paid for my house, Ralph. No one paid for your house.
Right? Exactly. Yeah.
We had to do it. And so, you know what? Come up with something. Come up with some sort of plan where you're going to fork up the money. Now, the Tampa Bay Rays just came up with an idea that they're going to put a new stadium in over in St. Petersburg. Should be done by 2027, 2028, right in there.
Right. Yeah.
So we're going to see how that plays out. But yeah, the owner wanted the city and the county and everybody to pay for it, and they just told him, no, it's not happening. You got to come up with
Right.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't blame these, again, like I said before, these cities for doing that. Leo, it's been a great show. We'll talk to you next week. I'll be probably watching you on the sports web with Peter Blake, and your post game shows that you guys do, and all the stuff that you guys do together. I watch a lot of that stuff. So, but I'll see you next week, and have a great day. Enjoy your weekend.
Absolutely. Getting ready to post my Leo's losers, so look for them.
Yeah, I know. Have a great one, and have a good one, Leo. And I'll talk to you next week.
Take care, buddy.
All right. Thanks. Leo Haggerty from Amped Up Sports, my co-host here every single Saturday morning, 10:30, telling it like it is. And that's exactly what we do here. We tell it like it is. We tell it the way we see it. All right. I want to talk to you today about Draft 412. Draft 412, $9 a month. Draft412.com. Call that or get on their website today and subscribe. Why? Because they give you all the skinny on different drafts, the picks, the players, the lowdown, the stats, everything. They break every player down, and it's for every different sport: baseball, basketball, football, hockey, everything you imagine. They do it. And I've made a joke out of this. They probably would do yachting too, but they don't. But what I'm saying is they do a lot of that stuff. So if you want all that great information, you need to get on to draft412.com. $9 a month. They send you a e-magazine in your inbox. And we're here at the First Line Consulting Services Studios, 1877 926-6982. Give them a call today. They will set you up with a website, create it, manage it, and upload all your videos at one low monthly price. All right, I want to talk to you also about Bon Journey. Don't forget tonight, 8 p.m., Bon Journey, a Bon Jovi and Journey tribute band. One of the best. They've been around since 2004, and they're rocking and rolling all over Western Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia. They've even been to the Sturgis Bike Rally. So what I'm saying to you is that's how powerful this group is. All right, so they're going to be at Jurgles Rhythm and Brews in Warrendale, right on Brush Creek Road, 8 p.m. start time. Be advised, when you go to Jurgles, it's standing room only. So if you want to stand, that's fine. If you want to sit, you better get there early, get a table, or you're going to be standing. So I just want to let you know that. This Sunday, tomorrow, October 1st, 2:30 to 4:30, at the Cecil Fall Festival in Cecil, PA. Go into Cecil. To your left is past the fire department is a little community park. That's where the festival will be. Go check them out there at the Fall Festival in Cecil, Pennsylvania. Sleep Pittsburgh is a place that sells mattresses, but they don't just sell mattresses. They sell futons, day beds, lift chairs, bunk beds, anything related to sleep, mattresses. I bought a memory foam mattress. Didn't pay a lot of money. Had nice people. And get this, no credit check financing. And they're located in Homestead, right on 8th Avenue. If you're on your way to Kennywood for their haunted events that go on there, their Halloween events, you're on your way out to Kennywood. Well, why not leave early? Stop by at Sleep Pittsburgh, say hello, go in, tell them you heard it here from me, Ralph Williams, RW Media Productions, and let them know that you heard it from me. Go in there, get a nice, you can, as I mentioned, get a nice mattress, no credit check financing. Call today. They'll even do it on the phone with you, 412-462-7858. Sleep Pittsburgh, the best sleep tonight. All right. And this show today was sponsored by RW Media and Amped Up Sports. Telling it like it is. We're here every Saturday, 10:30 a.m. Just some other notes of RW Media production shows. Monday, the way we see it. Myself, Bill Canada. We have a lot to talk about this Monday. Oh my gosh, we have so much to talk about. It's going to be another hour and 45-minute, 2-hour show for what we have to talk about. Monday, 7 p.m. live, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter platforms every Monday, 7 p.m. The way we see it. Myself, Ralph Williams, and Bill Canada. All right, on Tuesdays, Sports Corner Radio, 99.3 FM and 12:30 a.m. Beaver County Radio, live on Beaver County Radio's Facebook, and also on our YouTube channel. Ralph Williams, myself here, smoking Jim Frazier. And I'll tell you what, we put on one heck of a sports talk show all across there. Also, you can watch it on Beaver County Radio's website and also on their Facebook page, their YouTube channel, and their app, which you can download into your phone, and also www.rwmedia.org, which is the website for all my shows as well. Check that out also. And don't forget on, with our Sports Corner this Tuesday, excuse me, we have legendary baseball writer John Parado in studio. And then Marty Leap from Rum Bunter also will be part. It's a pirate closing show. We're going to talk about the Pirates dissect this year. It's the closing call. I call it the Pirate Closing Show. Next Tuesday, the following Tuesday, October 10th, I believe it is. Penguin Show. I got Matt Venzel coming on from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. He's the beat writer for them. He handles Penguin hockey. And Joe Kuglis, he covers the Penguins for Draft 412. Both of them will be on your phone calls, 724-843-1888 or 724-774-1888 is the numbers to call if you want to chime in on the sports show, Tuesday night Sports Corner Radio, with me, Ralph Williams, and Smoking Jim Frazier. Wednesday night, I'm on with Mark Mancini on the Sports Web with Peter Blake, 10:30 p.m. We have Turnbuckle Talk. We talk nothing but wrestling. And then Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Wrestle Talk. Myself, Mark Mancini, Bubba Brewer, and also Smoking Jim Frazier. And I got to tell you, we talk some great wrestling talk. Blog Talk Radio, 347-205-9631 is the number to call for you to participate. All right, and then Saturday mornings, don't forget, we have the External Boom show, as well as Telling It Like It Is with me, myself, and Leo Haggerty. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter X platforms. And then the External Bum Show, 347-205-9631. Blog Talk Radio, 9:30 a.m. Saturday mornings. We are on for that. That's myself, Bubba Brewer. Myself, Scott Morganroth, Mark Mancini, and Joe Kuglis from Draft 412. Scott Morganroth from the South Florida Tribune, Mark Mancini from Mancini Media, and myself, Ralph Williams from RW Media. We put on one heck of a half hour of the External Bum podcast. We talk bums in sports and many other sports topics as well. It's a great half hour. 9:30 a.m. every single Saturday morning. All right, for Leo Haggerty, I am Ralph Williams. Have yourself a great Saturday. We'll see you next week for Telling It Like It Is.